longer it takes.
All right, well, welcome everybody. I'm really thrilled that you're here today, and I appreciate everybody that's taking some time on a Sunday to spend a few hours with us learning about animal bodywork. I also want to thank the Arizona Integrated Studies Institute that is our host today. We're at their Mesa, Arizona campus, and I apologize. I think I said their name wrong. The ASIS School of Integrated Studies, ASIS Massage Education, our newest partner in education. So we're thrilled to be here teaching this week, and I'm thrilled to just be spending a couple hours with you today to share this information. So I want to start with a question. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to wake up and love the work that you do every day? Have you ever imagined what it would be like to spend your days working with animals? If so, animal bodywork might be the career for you. And today, what I would like to do is share a little bit about my experience as an animal body worker to help you better understand what animal bodywork is, why animals need it, and how you might be able to add animal bodywork to your career path. We'll also learn some basic massage strokes. I'm going to send you home today with a basic routine that you'll be able to use for your pets starting today to help them and support their health and well-being, whether you have horses, dogs, cats, or other species. We'll talk about career opportunities and training, and also some situations where massage may not be appropriate, so that even if you're just managing the health and well-being of your own pets, you'll know when it might be best to avoid massage. So I want to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Lola Michelin, and I am the founder of the Northwest School of Animal Massage. And like many of you on the call today, I imagine, I have been crazy about animals since I can remember. As a young kid, I would bring home every stray cat and dog that I found. As a matter of fact, my sisters and I would often bring home baby birds or eggs that had fallen out of nests, and my mom would have to set up an incubator in the basement or in the garage so that we could take care of our little foundlings. One time I even remember my sister and I bringing home a baby squirrel, and we had him for several months until he was strong enough to head back out on his own. So it was pretty apparent from a young age that I was probably going to have a career that involved animals. I always thought that it would be veterinarian medicine. And so I started down that path, and I went to Michigan State University to study animal science and pre-veterinarian medicine. During a summer break between my undergraduate and graduate years, I took a job as a veterinarian technician at a local racetrack. And I really thought that that was going to be my path to work with racehorses. During that summer, it was my first experience seeing massage for an animal. And I happened to be lucky to be the vet tech on duty that day, so that I held horses for a gentleman who had been flown in to do body work on horses that day. And what I saw was sheer magic, and it changed everything about what I wanted to do with my life. And from that moment on, I took every opportunity to learn as much as I could about animal massage and other forms of body work. I continued to work as a veterinarian technician and later as a zookeeper, but I've now been working either part-time or full-time as an animal massage therapist for almost 4 decades. In 2001, I founded the Northwest School of Animal Massage to help teach others to do the same. And since that time, I've had the great pleasure of being able to teach internationally and to speak at veterinarian conferences and massage conferences across the globe. And the one thing I've learned from that is that whether I was in Japan or Mexico or anywhere in North America, people love their animals and they just want to do whatever they can to help support their health and well-being. As time has gone on, the animal bodywork field has expanded to include many different types of manual therapies, and people's awareness of the benefit of animal massage has increased to the point where now there are many different career opportunities available to people in our industry. It's possible to work at racetracks, to work at grooming salons, daycare centers, in a clinical setting, or to have your own personal private practice, like myself. And people of all types are looking for these services for their animals, whether they have a horse at home in their backyard or pets in their home, or if they are top level competitors, Olympic athletes even, or dogs that show or work for a living. So the opportunities, I really feel, are endless and continue to grow, just as the field of animal body work does. But what is animal body work? And how do we know that animals might need it? Animal body workers use a variety of modalities or techniques to help support the health and well-being of animals. So every animal body worker is unique based on the tools and the techniques that they've trained in and that they focus on. For instance, my practice is mainly focused on massage. That's how I got started. And I've been doing massage now for, as I mentioned, almost 38 years. But when I started out, there weren't really any training opportunities available. I had to cobble together different experiences. So I used my training as a veterinarian technician. I went back and studied human massage and just took every opportunity that I could to shadow or mentor with people who are doing the work. As time went on, more schools started to be established, and I tried to take the opportunity to take any courses that came up that I could, eventually founding my own program. But I continued on to today to take classes and learn new skills as new manual therapies become available. So for instance, in my practice, I'm currently studying osteopathy and craniosacral therapy, but I offer Swedish massage, myofascial release, craniosacral therapy at a low level, and I also do elastic kinesiology taping, and I offer other mechanical services like laser therapy, acupressure, and laser puncture, as well as pulsed electromagnetic frequency therapies. So there's a wide range of tools that people might have in their toolkit, and there's something for everybody. But how do we know the animals need these therapies? Animal body workers serve as liaisons between the home or the stable and the veterinarian clinic, so that when animals are healthy but having training challenges, or they're actively competing, or it may just be things that come up related to aging or related to their natural activities. There's times when they just need a little bit of support, and that's where animal body workers can be really useful. As a body worker, our focus is on all the systems of the body, so that we look at the animal as a whole being, and we try to support every aspect of their being, not just one system, say like the musculoskeletal system. So while massages and body work can be very relaxing, or they can be designed to alleviate tension or stress related to the muscles, it can also be a session that helps to support the mental well-being of an animal who's maybe fearful or depressed or has other psychological concerns that are affecting them both physically and mentally. And animal body work can look at things like immune support, digestive support, and respiratory support to help animals throughout their life. I want to share a couple stories with you to give you some examples of where massage and body work has been a significant tool in managing animals along their journey. For instance, I have pictured here a small dog. Her name was Belle. She's a border collie, and she comes from a line of very active sheep herding dogs. Her owner's intention was for Belle to be a sheep herding dog as well. And when she was just over a year old, she developed a joint condition in which all of her major joints became very inflamed, very painful, and it was difficult for her to progress. We used a combination of kinesiology tape, as shown here, to support her joints while they healed, and to provide her some support and awareness of her movements so that she could develop proprioceptive patterns or muscle memory patterns that would help her with ideal movement once she recovered her strength. This also helped to reduce the atrophy or muscle wasting that she might have experienced during this time. we were using massage and other therapies as well. And Belle progressed so that by the time she was 2 years old, she was able to catch up and return to her normal activities. Because of my association with several zoos across North America, I've had the opportunity to work with some exotic species as well. And I can think of two instances that in particular impressed me with just how powerful these therapies can be. I was working for a zoo in Florida, and they had a Thompson's gazelle. She was pregnant, and she wasn't set to deliver for several days. So she was staying with the herd, and she delivered prematurely. So her baby was born within a herd, and unfortunately was trampled in just the first few hours of his life. This resulted in significant soft tissue injuries, although fortunately he did not sustain any skeletal injuries. Needless to say, it was a tough start to his life, and I just happened to be there teaching a massage course at the time. So the zookeepers called to see if there was anything I thought I could do to help support him. The main concerns were that he was so weak and the injury is so extensive that he couldn't stand to nurse. And the mother was quite stressed, so they were reluctant to remove her and him from the herd and take them to the nursery. So we developed a program where we could massage her and milk her and then bottle feed the baby while he was being massaged. And we provided daily and even sometimes a few times a day support for the both of them. I'm happy to say that Tiny Tim, as he was named, matured into a healthy and active adult male, and the mother went on to have additional babies over the years. More recently, I worked with the Woodland Park Zoo in Seattle, Washington, and they had a giraffe that was born. His name was Hassani, and at the time he was born, the bones of his ankles had not developed fully, so they were a little bit more like jello than bone. Consequently, he also could not stand, which for a giraffe is quite concerning, because if he can't stand, he can't nurse. So again, I was called in and worked with the animal health care team there to develop a program for him. We used a combination of kinesiology tape, laser for pain management, and massage for body awareness and to relieve the tension in all of his compensating muscles. And we had a special set of shoes built for him so that he could transfer weight from off of his, what would be his hock or our ankles, to his hips and other joints so that he could stand for short periods of time. And over the weeks, we were working with him first on a daily basis and eventually on a weekly basis. And he wore the kinesiology tape until he was about 4 months old, which really helped him to get a good start. He is now a strapping young man, fully grown, and part of an active breeding program at another zoo. So these are just examples of how massage and other therapies were really helpful in an animal's recovery. But many times the body work is more just to help maintain an animal during the healthy stages of their life. Like many pets who, as they age, may experience different conditions related to aging. It may be as an active young animal, they may get occasional muscle soreness from their activities. Or as they age, they may need help in supporting them as they develop things like arthritis or other pathologies. And all species can benefit from these therapies, but that may be different based on what their particular needs are. For instance, in our pet populations with dogs and cats, we have a higher incidence of, say, cancer cases that might benefit from palliative care, as opposed to horses and some livestock who might have more concerns surrounding ulcers or gastric issues. So I do want to talk a little bit about the benefits of massage for animals. Massage, as I mentioned, is just one aspect of body work, but many manual therapies are based on or grows out of massage. And so many of the benefits of manual therapies are going to be the same as they would for massage. And I chose this because I think many people are also familiar with the benefits of massage. Perhaps you've gotten massages yourself and you use massage as a tool in your own healthcare. So you may be able to relate to a lot of the experiences that we'll talk about here. Benefits of massage for animals affect all the systems of the body. So as I mentioned before, body workers take a very holistic approach, and we're not just looking at muscular system benefits, but also how does the work that we're doing impact things like the circulatory system or the digestive system? Because how healthy those systems are will help to dictate how well that animal can move, how well they can perform, how well they can participate in the activities of their life. So just as a reminder, some of the people on today's call are probably already familiar with many of these benefits if you're a human massage practitioner or a veterinarian technician, although it may be slightly different as to how massage helps to create things. Some of the circulatory system benefits we talk about is that massage can help to improve the distribution of blood in the body. And it also creates something called vasodilation, which helps to make sure that blood can flow freely, and it helps to decrease the blood pressure. This is going to help by improving the supply of oxygen to all cells and also improve the delivery of nutrients throughout the body. Digestive system benefits will include things like relaxing the smooth muscle linings of the digestive tract and helping to improve both peristalsis, which is the contraction of smooth muscle, and motility or movement of digestive material through the digestive tract. This can help to improve appetite for underweight animals. It can help to improve satiety or the feeling of having had enough to eat, which can help when we're trying to manage animals that are perhaps overweight. It also can help to ensure that animals who maybe are experiencing symptoms around ulcers or irritable bowel syndrome can get some relief as well. We can use massage and other manual therapies in conjunction with regular veterinarian care to help support the healing that's going on related to supplementation or medication. Most of us are familiar with muscular system benefits. Massage helps to relax muscles, which relieves tension and stiffness. It can help to create capacity for the muscles to work. And while massage itself doesn't directly strengthen the muscle tissue, it can contribute to programs, conditioning programs, or rehabilitation programs by introducing the capacity for work in the muscle that then later exercise and core strengthening can help to improve. But it does directly improve flexibility at both the joints and within the muscles, which as our pets age can be a huge benefit. We'll look at a few other systems and how massage can benefit these systems. One of my favorite is the benefits of massage for the nervous system, because as a pet owner, the one tool I want to have is a way to manage pain. And massage is a very straightforward tool in helping to either temporarily or in the case of chronic conditions, provide pain management over the long haul. And pain can make animals really restless and fearful. And so it can be helpful to have tools that help the mental aspect of the nervous system to try to calm and nurture the nervous system during any of those events. With animals that are active in competition or service worker dogs, it can help to improve muscle memory or help to create more beneficial movement patterns. The immune system is another system that we want to provide support for on a regular basis, even in our healthy animals. Dogs are constantly coming in contact with things in their environment, especially if they're going out and they're interacting with other dogs in public, like at off-leash parks or play groups, horses that are traveling to horse shows or interacting with other horses as a result of their activities are constantly being exposed potentially to pathogens or even travel related stresses. And so helping to support their immune system can really make those activities more enjoyable and to ensure that we're not putting our animals at risk. Skeletal benefits include relieving joint stiffness and helping to improve the distribution of the natural lubricating fluids that are found in the body that protect our joints. And the list goes on. So just a few more of the benefits of massage and body work for animals. The skin is the largest organ of the body, and it's also our first line of defense against potential pathogens. So anything that can help to improve coat quality and skin quality is going to help support the immune system as well. Improving the elasticity of the skin just makes movement easier, makes it more comfortable for animals when they're moving around. And our skin is an outward indication of our inside health. So a healthy coat and healthy skin is a great indication that things are functioning well for an animal. So we want to do anything we can to support the skin. Massage can be a great tool just in monitoring your pet's health. So I often work with the pet owners and horse owners who I have as clients to teach them basic routines that they can use on a regular basis, like the one you'll learn later today. This is great for just making sure that if there is anything brewing, we catch it early, because nothing is better than early detection in terms of allowing us the most options for managing any kind of condition that might arise for our pets. It also helps us to develop observation skills and mindfulness skills when we work with our animals in this way on a regular basis, so that it can help to even enhance the relationship that we have with our pets and with our livestock. Taking time to just sit with your animal quietly and massage them for even 10-15 minutes a few times a week will add to the emotional bond that you share with them. It will help give them confidence, and it will help them to communicate with you in nonverbal ways when they have concerns. But how is body work different when used for animals than what we might experience as humans? So even though we said that many of the benefits of massage are the same, how the animals experience body work may be quite different. And the reasons we do it for animals are going to be different as well, mainly based on behavioral differences, anatomical differences, and sometimes social differences. So let's look at a few of those differences. Animals communicate with us non-verbally, but they do have many, many different languages that they use. And if you spent any time with an animal, you've probably developed what you feel like is a secret language between you and your own animals. You know when they're hungry, you know when they need to go out, and you know when they're not really feeling well. But as an animal body worker, we have to be able to establish that level of communication pretty quickly with animals that we may not have much familiarity or background with. So what are things that we watch for? Animals are great at telling us not only when something feels good, but also letting us know when maybe we have to adjust how we're doing something or stop doing something. So we look for posturing, we look for facial gestures, we look for feedback from the tissues themselves, how the muscles feel, how the skin feels in response to our touch. And some real basic things that we might look for when we're working with an animal is whether their posture starts to appear more relaxed, the softening around the facial features, around the eyes and the lips, the change in their breath, deeper breathing, or a deep sigh, releasing some of the breath that's maybe been a bit trapped or shallow. Yawning can be an indication of relaxation, or at least an indication that they're releasing tension. Animals will often want to stretch or change positions. A dog might go from sitting to lying down, and even maybe starting to act a little bit dozy, like they want to drift off. We also want to watch for signs from animals that maybe things aren't going so well, and we have to either adjust things like our speed, our pressure, our position, or even maybe change to doing a different modality or a different technique. With dogs, I always watch for the showing the whites of the eyes, what we call whale eyes, looking back at me, panting, or starting to lick an area. That may be indicating they want me to focus on that area, but it also could be what we call a displacement behavior, something that they do if they feel like they can't just move away or do a different activity. A lot of looking away from me or even trying to move away would definitely indicate that I need to adjust my approach. And I want to pay attention to any vocalizing. Vocalizing could be both positive or negative. Horses may move away from pressure. They may also paw or pin their ears, change the focus of their eyes, becomes more intent or less soft. They might stomp or even feign, like they might want to kick out or bite. Those would be extremes, but we always want to be paying attention so that we don't make an animal have to go to an extreme behavior. They can communicate us with more subtle signs. Some other things we want to be aware of that are different for animals, or at least have different elements to them, are some of the anatomical differences. Even the skin is quite different when we're working on an animal, and it might be different from one species to another. The coat of a dog might not be quite the same as the coat of a horse, or the thickness of the skin on some animals might be thicker or thinner, depending on the species. But we all know, human or otherwise, we all need touch. Touch is a basic need. It's like food or water. In the absence of touch, all mammalian species will not thrive. The skin and the hair is one of the easiest ways for us to introduce touch to the body, and all touch is going to be perceived on the surface initially. The skin actually is made up of the same tissue that when the fetus or the embryo is developing in the womb, the same tissue that forms the central nervous system, meaning the brain and the spinal cord, helps to design the skin as well. So you could think that one way to think of it is that the skin is really the outermost layer of our central nervous system, or the brain is the deepest layer of the skin. So every time we touch the skin, we're having direct communication to the central nervous system. Every single hair on the body has its own blood supply. It has a nerve that serves that hair, and it has a muscle that's designed to help raise or lower the hair. It has a lymph vessel dedicated to removing waste for that hair. So the hair itself communicates with nearly all systems of the body. And when you think about it, an animal, because of the amount of hair, gets a lot of sensory input from massage that might be a little bit less impactful for a human, although no less important. And so in many cases, when we talk about massaging animals, we do say, less is more, because they have so many phone lines going at once, communicating with their system. Another anatomical difference to be aware of with animals is just how they walk compared to humans. Humans are called bipeds. We walk on 2 feet, but most mammals are quadrupeds. They walk on 4 feet, especially horses, dogs, cats, the types of animals that we're most likely to be addressing in our bodywork practice. This means the spinal mechanics for a quadruped are quite different than a biped. In addition, the connection at the shoulder is very different for a quadruped than a biped. In many quadrupeds, they don't even have a clavicle or a collarbone. One way to kind of determine basically whether an animal has a clavicle or not is whether or not it climbs. So Clavicles are very important for animals that brachiate or climb as part of their lifestyle, but less important for quadrupeds like horses, where it's more important that they have some stability at the shoulder for weight-bearing purposes, and that the movement is concentrated more in the front to back and less so side to side. So this means that in a horse or a dog, the forearm or the arm of the horse is held to the body only through soft tissue. There's not a bony connection holding the forelimbs onto the body in dogs and horses. Also, this orientation of their body means that gravity has a different effect on the body. And gravity is one of the most constant forces that is changing our posture, changing how our body adapts to stress, and is constantly putting pressure on the body in a way that any movement that we want to do, we have to overcome or work with gravity. So on a biped, gravity is coming down on the spine from above, but on a horse, gravity is coming down across the whole length of the spine. So in a quadruped, like a dog or a horse, the gravitational forces are different than they would be on a human. This is something a body worker would take into consideration. Both people and animals might experience back pain, but the reasons for it and the ways to address it might be quite different. Lastly, we want to compare how that leg interacts with the ground. So it's helpful to know that 2 legs versus 4 legs is going to create some differences, but also just even the way animals walk across the earth is going to be different. As humans, we walk on the surface, the bottom surface of our foot, what we call a plantigrade. Canines walk on their toes, all 4 toes, and the pad of their foot, but the heel is elevated slightly, as you see in the picture here. So dogs and cats we call digigrade because they walk on their digits. So there's a different stress on that foot. And then many livestock animals, like the horse, walk on 1 or 2 digits, maybe 3 digits. So horses are what we call ungulates, and they walk on 1 digit only. This brings the heel quite high, halfway up the horse's leg. So the stresses down the leg are going to be different for each of these species. So I want to introduce some basic strokes, and these are strokes that you're going to recognize because you're probably already doing them if you're petting your animal. And I'm going to introduce these first on a stuffed animal just so that I can show you how the strokes are done. Feel free to play along. If you have a stuffed animal available, you can do that. You can use a stuffed animal as well. You can use your own pet if they're nearby, or you can just practice these strokes as I demonstrate them on yourself. Once I've reviewed these 3 strokes, I'm going to bring one of our dogs out and give you a basic routine that you can start using with your animals right away. At this point, I will take a moment. If there's anybody that has a question or wants to pop something into the chat, I will be happy to address it before I make some adjustments here. All right, I don't see any questions as of yet, so I'm going to go ahead with the demonstration. Before I begin, I want to mention that this massage routine is designed to just help support a healthy animal. It's something you can do regularly because it's going to be a very short routine. And I recommend to my clients that they could do this up to 3 times a week. And it only takes 10 to 15 minutes, maybe for a horse a little bit longer because you have a greater surface area. So maybe you're taking 20 to 30 minutes to do this routine. And the benefits of this routine are going to be that they'll, again, help you with bonding with your animal. They help to make you more aware what your animal feels like on a routine basis, so that if something changes, you'll pick up even slight differences in the quality of their skin, their coat, or their muscles. And this particular routine is designed to help support immune function, circulatory function, and help to relieve tension in the muscles. So you get a lot of benefit from just a short period of time. Generally speaking, with massage, We wouldn't want to do massage every day. Animals do need a little bit of time, as do people, to integrate the work. And we want to, you know, the more often we're doing a massage, the probably shorter the session is. Why my slides not advancing? There we go. Okay. So I'm going to use my friend Brownie here. He's going to be my demo for these strokes. And the first stroke we're going to talk about is passive touch. And just as the name implies, we're just touching the animal, but we're not really moving or using a lot of pressure. So when I do this, I'm just resting the weight of my hand on the body. That's the passive aspect. And I'm not moving around a lot. I'm just holding over an area. And I'll mention a couple areas where this stroke is particularly helpful in a moment here, but this stroke is great for creating some awareness, body awareness, helps bring focus and attention to the body. It warms the tissues under my hand and helps to relax. It can be great for calming the nerves, and it can provide a lot of emotional support. So you've probably done a lot of this with your animals at home when they're just resting beside you. Maybe you're watching TV and you're just letting your hand rest on the surface. This is going to help provide a lot of support. But when we're doing massage, we're going to just add a little intention to it because we're going to be conscious of the area that we're applying the passive touch. And we're going to be, checking out what we might be feeling under our hands. Maybe an area feels warmer or cooler than the nearby tissues. It might feel like it's a little more sensitive, or we might find areas where the animal is particularly happy to have you rest there. Occasionally, you might use a little more pressure, like handshake pressure. But just remember, with horses and dogs, less is usually more. Right? Light touch is going to be more beneficial than deeper pressures. Some areas that I really love to use passive touch include the base of the skull. So right where the skull and the neck meet, behind your animal's ears. This is an area where we have a lot of nerve activity because we have the cranial nerves that arise from the skull and start to control a lot of functions in the head and neck, and also internal functions. Another area is over the tailbone, so just between the hips can be a nice way to introduce some passive touch. And if you can do both areas simultaneously, that's great. If not, one or the other. I also like to use passive touch over the chest area, so just between the front legs. This area connects me to a lot of different systems of the body because there's some acupressure points here that are specifically geared towards lung function and kidney function. So I can tap into the endocrine system a little bit here. I can tap into the immune system. We have lymphatic structures and circulatory structures here as well. The next stroke I'm going to introduce, we call the Power 20. If you're a human massage therapist, you know this as effleurage. And as a pet owner or horse owner, this is just petting your pet. The nice flat-handed stroke that we all use so often when we're interacting with animals. We want to make sure that as we're doing this stroke, we just let the hand follow the contours of the body. So it's helpful to keep your wrist nice and relaxed and loose. The longer and more connecting this stroke can be, the better. So you want to think about covering a larger surface area, like from the head all the way down the shoulder and limb, or along the back. The benefits of this stroke is mainly about distributing fluid. It also helps to warm and calm the skin and the nerves just under the skin. So has some of the same benefits as passive touch, but it adds movement and helps to create flow. Not just flow of blood, but other fluids of the body, lymphatic fluid, cerebrospinal fluid, even the extracellular fluids that live in the spaces around our cells. So it can be a great stroke for helping to distribute blood, helping to move wastes, through the body and help to eliminate waste. And it can be a nice way to improve the surface temperature, bring blood up to the surface, and also help to just create some nice comforting, confidence building for the animal. The third and last stroke that I'm going, oh, and I should mention too, we call this the Power 20 because ideally you want to do that stroke 20 times. That'll take you about 30 to 60 seconds at least to do a flat-handed stroke through the same area of the body 20 times. And this is important because if you do it repeatedly, you'll get a stronger result or a stronger benefit. When we do it 20 times, you're going to get the body helping to assist and maintain the feelings, the benefits, as opposed to just doing it once or twice. The body will feel that. It might feel great, but then it'll quickly revert to whatever position it was prior or whatever state it was prior to the work. But if I take some time to just intentionally work through that area 20 times, then I'm going to be helping the body move into a state of maintaining that blood flow, getting that vasodilatory effect, and creating a longer lasting result. So at this point, I'm going to switch to working with my dog. It's going to take me a minute or two to set up the space. So I'm going to offer a break at this point. If you need to get up and go get a glass of water, use the restroom, or just move around so that your own body gets a chance to move around. When we come back, I'll have Izzy here with me, and I'm going to go through a short routine that you can use for your pets. So it is, let's just take a 5-minute break, and I'll see you back here in just a few. This is also a time where I'll pop in the chat room. So if anybody has questions or comments at this point, if you want to add them to the chat, that'd be great. All right. And we're back. Okay, so hopefully you had a little bit of a break. I've got my friend Izzy here. She's going to help us out with the demo today. And I did just want to mention, I did forget to add the third stroke, but I'll do that during the demonstrations, and that's going to be the lines. So I'll talk about that a little bit. But I do want to just mention a few things about preparing your space when you're working with your pet. And if it's a horse, it'll be slightly different, but you do want to make sure that your space is relatively distraction free. So if you can find a quiet place to set up. If I'm working with my dog or a cat, I often work on the floor, and that's fine. So you can just be on the floor with your dog. Here I've set up a table for Izzy, and for small dogs or cats, that's often preferable, or it might be easier for you. I do just want to emphasize that if you're going to use a table, make sure you have a non-slip surface. So I put a yoga mat down here just so that she can't slip, or if she tries to leap off the surface, she's not going to slip and maybe hurt herself. Because she is on a table, I've also have her secured. You may or may not do that at home with your own pets, but just when I'm working on a table, I want to make sure that the dog isn't able to get away from me and jump off of the table and possibly injure themselves. Same with my horses. I might be in their stall. I might be in a paddock with them. I might have them in an aisleway of a barn. It's going to be up to you whether or not you have your horse tied during the session. I often find that if I can have them in a space where I can just hold on to the lead rope or place it over their neck or not have them tied, I'll get better communication and feedback from the horse, and it gives them some freedom to move around, which I like during my sessions. But safety first. So if safety is an issue or the location you're in just kind of requires you to have them tied, that's fine, as long as they have enough room and freedom to move their head and neck around comfortably, and you're not concerned about them getting in trouble being tied. So okay, so I've already been doing some passive touch, and that's usually where I start. So for this routine, I'm just going to move behind the table so that you can see her as I'm working. And I'll mention too, so I'm just going to start with some passive touch over the chest in this case. You could start at the other areas that I mentioned, but those three areas are a nice place to start with your session. And you want to make sure that your own breathing is nice and deep and regular. It doesn't have to match the animals. Your respiratory rate may be different than theirs, but if your breath is deep and calm and relaxed, it will kind of help them move into that nice, deep, relaxed state as well. I'm going to move one hand from the chest. I'll put my other hand over her hips, like I mentioned, right over the tailbone. And then I'm just going to rest here for a moment. And I'm watching for feedback, as I mentioned. If she is yawning, the eyes are softening, maybe her position is getting a little more relaxed, a little more comfortable. Those are all good signs that she likes what I'm doing and she's ready for the next step. And then I'm going to move into my power 20. So I'm going to start with her on either side of the jaw and go along the sides of her body. I always want her to be able to see, if my hands are coming towards her face or my hands are behind her, I want her to be able to turn to be able to see where my hands are. I don't want anything to surprise her or startle her. So my movements are just slow and gradual. I'm just going to go 20 strokes on either side of her body. Now you can see here, she's sitting, and that's fine. I can do a lot of work with a dog in a seated position or a cat in a seated position. If they want to lay down, then that'll just afford me a different way of doing the work. Even if a dog wants to stand through their massage session, that's okay as well. The horses are, needless to say, standing through most of our massage sessions. If you're working on your horse and you're comfortable around your horse and they want to lay down, you just want to make sure that it's a very safe situation. There's plenty of room for both of you. But I do have horses that I'll work on laying. I prefer if they're standing. And again, with a power 20, your hands and wrists are just nice and loose so that they can follow the contours of the body. I'm seeing if I can feel any differences in temperature over the sides of her body. I'm just looking for signs of comfort and relaxation. This is helping to make sure that the blood is being evenly distributed, and it's very calming for the nerves and just helps to improve the health of the coat. And after I've done these strokes 20 times, I'm going to switch to just going down, because she is seated, down the limbs. Many dogs are sensitive to having their paws handled. Izzy is no exception to that. So I'm just making sure that as I come down the leg, my touch is light. And I certainly want to see if I can start introducing touch for her. That'll be a great way for animals who are sensitive about having their feet or paws handled to get accustomed to positive touch, so that it might be easier for doing things like trimming nails or grooming. And so she's starting to relax a little bit, wants to lay down, take a little more relaxed posture. I'm going to continue my strokes along the sides of the body, down the limbs. Moving on. And I'm going to go ahead and do on the belly. I'm just running my hands on either side of her chest, along her belly, and down the insides of the hind leg. Nice for the digestion, for helping to support some respiratory and digestive function. There's many other strokes and techniques, obviously, that we're not talking about today, but I think this is a really nice set of 3 strokes that you can do to support many of the body systems, to help with just not only the physical health of your animal, but also mental health as well, because so many of these strokes are very nurturing, very comforting, calming for the nervous system, can help with anxiety, fear. They help build confidence and body awareness. A really nice set of strokes to be using. And, you know, Izzy is presenting the parts of her body that she's wanting me to work on. Your dog or cat may be wanting you to focus on different areas. That's fine. I'm going to do the Power 20 for about 5 minutes in this series. So you could think of, 3 to 5 minutes of passive touch, 5 to 10 minutes of the Power 20 or effleurage stroke. And then we're going to introduce the 3rd stroke, which is lines. And lines are going to look similar to effleurage or the Power 20 in that we're just stroking down the parts of the body, the limbs, the sides of the body. But now I'm using my fingers a little bit like a rake or a claw, and I might even introduce some movement. So I can trace lines down the body with about handshake pressure. So now we're adding a little bit more pressure, what I call moderate pressure. You could be going very light, but you don't need to go deep. This is also going to help with lengthening the muscles and reducing some of the tension in the muscles. So nice full body approach, full body routine. If I want to work through the hind limbs, if the dog is standing, it's a little bit easier for me to get to all the muscles of the thigh and the lower limb, across the hips. Anything in this routine that I'm doing on one side of the body, I want to try to copy it on the other side of the body. There might be certain areas where you want to spend more time because you might feel like there's more tension in the area, or the dog might be wanting you to spend a little bit longer in one area or the other. if you notice areas of tension, you could take a little bit longer in those areas, but you want to try to do all three of these strokes on both sides of the body and along the back and belly. The first few times that you work with your animal, it might feel awkward and they might only be tolerant for 10, 15 minutes of the work, and that's fine. The more you do it, the more they'll learn to associate the good feelings they get after the massage with the actual massage itself. So if you feel like your animal isn't really cooperative the first 1 or 2 times, just keep the session short. Look for times when maybe they are a little more restful because they've been out playing or they're getting, ready to go to bed. That would be a good time to introduce the massage. It takes about 3 to 5 sessions, I find, for the animals to really learn what the massage is about. And then they're a lot more amenable. Horses, because we spend so much time grooming them on a regular basis, often learn to associate the good feelings of the massage more quickly than dogs or cats, where a lot of the times that we're focusing attention on them is to play, or there's a game involved, or we're doing something that involves more energy. So teaching them about massage might take a few times for them to get used to. Now we've done our 3 strokes. I'm finishing up my lines, and then I'm just going to go back through the other 2 strokes. So we worked from passive touch up to the power 20 and into lines. And now we're just going to go backwards. Once I finish up my lines, I'm going to go back and do a little effleurage or power 20 over the whole body. Her body's small, so I can actually cover most of the parts of her body with my hands. If you have a larger dog, you may have to do more passes, and you take a little bit longer in order to do this stroke over the whole body. I want to just go back over the areas that I did initially. And after I've done my power 20 for a few minutes, helping to kind of reintegrate and connect all the parts of their body, all the different feelings they may have had during the session, and bring that together. Until I feel like I'm at a point where I want to go back to my passive touch. And I just do my passive touch here across the head. And I'm going to go to the crown or the top of her head and just rest my head for a few minutes. Just a nice closing with my passive touch. And again, this is a great routine for supporting respiration, digestion, circulation, and health of the muscles. So you can do this routine for 10 to 15 minutes, up to 3 times a week. It will really help you and your pet get to know each other on a deeper level, and for you to be able to check in and just make sure that their body, as it changes, as it will, that you're aware of those changes. That's the basic routine. I'm going to go ahead and go back to sharing the PowerPoint presentation so we can talk a little bit more about times when it might not be appropriate to massage your pet. We're also going to talk about how animal body workers obtain the training and what the career opportunities might be through the Northwest School of Animal Massage. So just a moment here while I pass off Izzy, and she can go have a little nap. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed that brief massage session. I know Izzy did. And as I mentioned, I do have a slide here for you about the lines stroke that I introduced. And with our lines, As mentioned, we're just using the fingertips to either rake through the tissues, or even if you want to sift, introducing some movement as you do those lines to really help lengthen the muscle fibers and create a little relaxation or decreased tension in the musculoskeletal system. After you've done a massage session, a few things to keep in mind. If you're just doing this for your own animals, please make certain that the animal does have access to fresh water following a massage session. They may drink more often. As a consequence, if your animal is an indoor animal, they may have to relieve themselves more often than you typically expect. So they might be asking to go out a little more frequently for about the 24-hour period after the massage. That's normal. Nothing to worry about. Just make sure that they have enough water and opportunity to go outside. Oftentimes after a short massage, they might benefit from a walk or a little bit of movement, gentle activity to help integrate that work that you've done, and so they can feel how good their body feels after the work. If they prefer to nap, some animals, they get sleepy after the massage, or it's later in the day and they're going to bed, then you just want to think about getting them a little bit of activity in the 12 to 24 hours following a massage, because as we all know, motion is lotion for the body. Now, there are times, as I mentioned, when massage would not be appropriate, when we might want to avoid this type of touch with our animals. Many of them are going to be obvious things like if there is an injury or an emergency first aid situation where massage would not be the priority, but some of them might be a little less obvious, or we might have to be a little bit more conscious of our observation of our animal before we start a massage to rule out any what we call contraindications or reasons why we wouldn't want to do a massage. So this is a short list of situations where you absolutely would not want to do a massage until you either get appropriate care first, or until the animal recovers from the issue. So situations would include when an animal has a fever, especially a fever that is associated with some sort of active infection of the body, such as a respiratory infection. Massage isn't going to exacerbate or spread the condition or cause problems, but it may aggravate some of the symptoms the animal's already feeling. Touch might be, uncomfortable when they're feverish, and probably we need to attend more to whatever is the cause or source of the fever. If you know that your animal, they've been diagnosed with a condition affecting the immune system or the lymphatic system, that's where you would want to work with a professional if you're going to be including manual therapies in their management. So if you don't have the advanced training, you would just avoid doing massage during these situations. If an animal is clearly in shock, or they require immediate emergency care, if you're not able to provide that first aid care yourself, this is where, if you can call your veterinarian, veterinarian will let you know if it's appropriate to transport them immediately to the clinic, whatever you need to do to provide the immediate emergency care necessary. If your animal has been diagnosed with a heart condition, then you do want to discuss whether massage is an appropriate management tool. In many cases, certain heart conditions really benefit from massage. Hypertension would be an example where massage can be a really valuable tool. But if there is a condition that causes congestion in the heart, there might be some precautions that we have to take. So you should avoid that or work with a professional. I also don't tend to work on animals if they are undergoing chemotherapy or radiation treatment for cancer. Cancer itself is not a contraindication per se, although certain cancers may be of greater concern. Again, if they're affecting the immune system or the lymphatic system, that would be a contraindication. If you have a dog or a cat that has had mast cell tumors, you want to work with a veterinarian and a professional to decide if massage is an appropriate tool for them. I just avoid working with animals who are on chemotherapy during the treatment, because those medications can be so caustic for the body. There's a lot of symptoms that the animal might be feeling. They might, the tissue might bruise easier. Probably not the best time to be doing massage, although If you know the animal well and massage is a great source of comfort for them, you might modify how you do the massage, or the basic strokes that we learned today, like passive touch and the Power 20 might be beneficial in those cases. You just want to make sure that there's a conversation going on between the primary care provider. There's also times where we would just not work in a specific area. So I might do the massage, but I might avoid certain areas like surgical sites, especially if there's still sutures in place, sites of cancerous tumors, or suspicious lumps even. If you find a lump on your animal and you're not sure what it is, best to just avoid that area until you have a chance to get a diagnosis. An injury site, a clear, obvious injury site, or an open wound, we don't want to work in those areas, or anywhere that the skin is infected. That might be a complete contraindication or just a relative contraindication depending on the infection and the severity. You also want to be aware that there are certain conditions that animals get that can be passed on to humans. They also could be passed from one dog to another. A classic example would be ringworm or mange, but even fleas can be something that might be irritating to you, or if you're working with somebody's dog and then you're going home to your pets and you don't want to take that home, that would be a relative contraindication. You might choose whether or not to work with that animal. Definitely something like ringworm, fungal infection, or bacterial infection you'd want to avoid. So those are examples of contraindications. And I want to wrap up today with a discussion of how you can become an animal body worker yourself. If what you heard today here, you learned in this short time is of interest to you, you might consider further training through the Northwest School of Animal Massage, where we believe the future is in your hands. So I'm just going to share a brief video with you to tell you a little bit about the Northwest School of Animal Massage.
As domesticated species and athletes, horses and other companion animals have unique physical and emotional needs, and the many benefits of various therapies, including massage, acupressure, aromatherapy, and traditional mechanical treatments, can assist equines, dogs, cats, and other animals in their activities and aging process. The Northwest School of Animal Massage provides career training and courses for animal lovers, taught by professionals from within the industry, that addresses the many health challenges horses and companion animals face today. Here, all students are honored students, given the training, tools, and opportunity by highly experienced instructors to learn techniques that are proven to have profound effects on animals of all ages and stages. This is where you can turn your love of horses and companion animals into a fulfilling career. Learn more today about the Northwest School of Animal Massage, where the future is in your hands.
So yes, I just want to share a little bit about the Northwest School of Animal Massage. As I mentioned earlier, I founded the Northwest School of Animal Massage in 2001, along with my friend Joan Sarita, in response to a growing demand for approved training programs in canine massage and equine massage, specifically in Washington State. Since then, we've, of course, branched out to an international audience. NWSAM was founded on 3 guiding principles, and they're as true today as they were on that first day in 2001. We strive to foster compassion for animals and to support a higher standard of practice within our industry by nurturing the continued growth of our student body and our alumni. Northwest School of Animal Massage offers programs in massage and acupressure. We have both a small animal track for dogs and cats and other companion type animal, and a large animal track for horses and other livestock. Both courses, both tracks can start with a foundation level program, which is a 200-hour program, and it encompasses training in behavior and handling for that species, anatomy and physiology specific to small animals or large animals, kinesiology, or the study of movement, massage theory and practice, as well as pathology and first aid. Each course also has a hands-on portion and a distance learning portion, and includes some business practices training. The large and small animal acupressure courses are similar. Our foundation level acupressure courses are 200 hours, and they cover traditional Chinese medicine theory and application, learning the meridians and the acupressure points, and being able to point locate, as well as putting together plans based on your observations and assessments. In addition, we have 2 advanced level courses in our massage programs. The performance level focuses not just on sports, but on working animals, service animals, any situation where the animal is either training, conditioning, or having to repeat an activity on a regular basis. And so the techniques that we learn in that level are focused on sports, things like myofascial release, trigger point therapies, and pre and post event type protocols. The rehabilitation level focuses more on animals that are recovering from injury or illness. And it includes things like manual lymphatic drainage therapy. It includes pre and post surgical protocols and massage that can be used for pain management and the relief of inflammation. So you have many options to choose from in developing your massage and acupressure skill set. These programs, our certification programs, are taught in a hybrid learning format, which means we have a complete online training for the theory portion of the programs, and you will be assigned a distance learning instructor that will help you through your training. Once you have completed the online or distance learning portion of the program, you will attend a practical for the hands-on supervised training. These are typically 5 days, depending on the course. The foundation level trainings are 5 days. Once you have completed both the online and the hands-on training for the level, you will have 25 case studies to complete, which will take a minimum of 25 hours, perhaps more. And you will get professional feedback on these sessions so that you gain confidence and skill set before you're taking on actual clients. Once you've completed these 3 steps, and your financial obligations are met, you will receive certification for that level. Then you can advance on to one of the other levels if you choose. You can combine massage and acupressure as well by taking both of the foundation level programs. Many of our students go on to take both tracks, large and small, and to take both our massage programs and our acupressure programs so that they can have a lot of flexibility and diversity within their practice. The Northwest School of Animal Massage also offers many continuing education opportunities, so you can build your animal bodywork practice based on your interests. We have courses in manual ligament therapy, which is an osteopathic technique that we are the exclusive providers of this training. We have an aromatic science for animals program taught by Joan Sarita. And this program not only deals with essential oils and the use of essential oils in animals, but also hydrosols, clays, and some herbal medicine. So it's a very well-rounded, robust program. We are offering a cranial sacral therapy program through Tracy Vroom from Cranial Connections and in cooperation with the Rocky Mountain School of Animal Acupressure and Massage. And that is both a canine craniosacral program and an equine craniosacral program that we're offering several times a year. And we offer visceral therapy. In addition, we have some online programs in learning fascial lines and the myokinesthetic lines. We have a program for horse temperament typing through Dr. Madeline Ward. And we're always building new courses because, as I mentioned, if you're an animal body worker, you're in a constant state of learning and advancing your skill set. The Northwest School of Animal Massage wants to help you pursue your interest in animal body work today, so you can begin your journey as soon as you're ready. In fact, we're going to offer an incentive today for the time that you've spent with us. If you enroll in a certification course between now and February 14th, you can receive $300 off any of the certification courses. It'll come off the distance learning tuition of your program, And you can get that by using code INTROBW, Intro Bodyworker. Enroll today and you'll receive an additional free book as well. And you can contact us for enrollment at our website, NWSAM.com. Visit our course catalog, choose the course that you like, and at the checkout, you can use your code for that discount. If you prefer, you can contact our office at our local number 206-463-1425 or toll free at 877-836-3703, or pop us an email. If you have questions about the program or you want to talk to somebody and book a time to talk with myself or our student service representative regarding your pathway as an animal body worker, we love to share information about this with you and look forward to the conversation. I want to thank you all for joining me today, and thank you for everything that you do for animals. I appreciate your time. Have a great day.